So here I've got 4 foldables and some of the top brands here, and they all have something in common. They're all right around 6,000 milliamp hours. Now, if you're like me, you wonder, which one lasts the longest, Which one, under a lot of use, gives me more hours? So we're going to actually check that out by doing a drain test in this video. And hopefully by the end, answer that question for myself and you. Let's get to it. So from the newest foldable to one of the older ones, and it's not really that old, the Automatic's only a year old. The new one just came out. This one being 5820, this is 6,000. And then of course you have the Vivo, which is 6,000, and it's only about a year old. And the new one's coming out on this one this next month. And yes, they are all increasing the batteries, but with these 4, we've got them really close to the same size battery, so we're gonna go ahead and test these out. Now let's not delay things anymore. Let's go ahead and start the test, and I'll explain things as we go. So as you see here, I've got all 4 laid out on the table, and I'm using this app called Ampere, and you can see here, it's telling you that they all full except for the Honor Magic V5. I could not get that full symbol to show up on the Honor Magic V5 no matter what I did, but as you can see here, it's not showing any drain and it's not charging any. So anyway, I click the switch on my power strip, make sure they all turned off at the same time, and I'm going ahead and unplugging them just to move the cables out of the way as the timer goes. And you can see they all started at the same time, and they're all at idle, kind of showing the same amount of drainage. I guess that's for the brightness. I try to get them as the same brightness as possible, but I don't have a gauge or anything to measure with, so it's just kind of by my eyes. And for some reason the Oppo likes to be a little yellow. I'm not quite sure why that is. So first thing I'm going to do is a video test. So I'm just going to go to my channel here, and I'm just going to play a video list on all of them. I figured that was the way to go. I'm going to go the first hour doing that. So I just started the videos on all of them, and we're going to let them play through. But something interesting happened, and I could not figure it out. As you watch these videos, you're going to see here that for some reason the Oppo Find N would not go to the next video. It just stopped at the end of the video, wouldn't play. Now in YouTube you can get it to continuously play, where it'll go and autoplay to the next video, and I have that set on all the phones, and I thought I used to have it on the Oppo Find N6, which I've had this phone for over 6 months now. So but in this test it decided not to play. Maybe it was an update that did something, but it bugged me, and I wasn't in the room when this happened, so I missed it for about an hour. As you can see here, it stopped for about 58 minutes before I noticed it. And so I went through and tried to figure out what was causing it. Couldn't figure it out, so I just went on to the next test. So now we're going to do the 3D Mark test, and this test is just the Wildlife Extreme Stress Test. This would simulate gameplay. So if you get on your phone, I don't know if you guys will play your games for about an hour or so, these high intensity games, but this is what this represents. Now what's interesting is when running this app here, I could not get the Vivo or the Oppo to go into landscape mode no matter what I did. They just wanted to stay in portrait mode, which just kind of bugged me. So we ran this test, and it took about 20 minutes. Hey, I want to take a quick second and thank you for watching this video on this power draining of all these foldables. If you got something on this video, do me a favor, smash that like button, because it really does help out the channel. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. It's free. If you watched any of my videos before, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Costs you nothing, but really does help out the channel. Our first stop here, and we can see where the percentages are. We've got 81% on the Vivo. The lowest one happens to be the Honor Magic at 76%, then 86 and 83 on the Razr. So the Oppo, of course, as we know, cheated a little bit and got a little bit of a respite for 58 minutes. So those aren't quite accurate, but I didn't want to restart the test, so we're going to keep going here and see what happens. And I thought I would go ahead and give everything a boost and run another test. This is the solar test, so it's a little bit different test, but I wanted to see where they're at. And now what really drains these cameras or these phones is the camera. So I'm doing an 4K video, and I just put this coin on the table, and for some reason I could not get the Oppo Find N to really focus in on that image. I'm not quite sure why it wouldn't, but I tried. So I went ahead and did a recording. I can't remember if I did it for an hour or 2 hours, but at the end of this time you can see that really drained all of them. we're down to 20% on the automatic V5. That's huge. And the Vivo, 38%. You know, that's crazy. And then the Oppo Find N6 is at 50% and the Motorola is at 54%. So even though the Oppo cheated on that one test, it's still falling behind the Motorola Razr, which is pretty interesting how that worked out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do some more video tests, but this time I put in a nature video that is like 2 hours long, so I didn't have to worry about it stopping. So I just went ahead and did that, and now we're just moving on up. Now we're 4 hours, moving up to 5 hours. I'll be stopping it here to do a battery check here in just a moment. So at 5 hours, we can see we are at 8% on the Automagic, 22% on the Vivo, and then we got 42 and 41. So the Oppo Find N did pretty good at playing that video and holding that battery off. So, it's kind of catching up to the Motorola at 42 and 41%. That's pretty doggone close. So I went ahead and did another gameplay. I don't do the browsing the web and stuff because I just don't have a way to do that. So this is another time of gameplay, and let's go ahead and check it here. This time I went ahead and checked the batteries and see how they drained here. You went from 21 to 9%, okay, on the Vivo, and down to 31% on the Motorola Razr, 28% on the Oppo, and down to 1% on the Automagic V5. So the V5 drains so much faster. So we're doing another video test to see what happens, and I think I just play this until they start to die, or see who dies first. And as you can see here, the Automagic died first at 6 hours and 29 minutes. Now this is no scientific test, and you're going to get different results at different times depending on what you play in the background. And then we got the Vivo killed out at 6 hours and 45 minutes. Now again, like I said, this has no indication on how long these batteries last. This is just my test and the things that I did. And again, here we are doing a video because we know that drains things really fast. And the Oppo looked like it died, but it had 2% left, so I went ahead and kicked it back on, and we're going to see how they play. At 8% on the Motorola, 2%. The Oppo Find N finally died after 7 hours and 32 minutes, so it hung on another hour longer than Honor. And then we got the Motorola. We're going to go ahead and see what we can do to kill it. So I ran another solar test here, and as a game testing type thing, and then it died out at 7 hours and 42 minutes. Now, as you can see there in my test, again, this was not a scientific test of any means, and I tried to test them all pretty much the same until they died. One died, and then I ran some more tests because, look at the hours. This is nearly 8 hours of testing. Actually, it was longer than that, and that's pretty exhausting, and that's a lot of time to be stuck here in the studio. And so I went out and did different things during different parts of this test. But anyway, all that to say is I think that the Motorola Razr did really good on battery use. Now, it's an 8 Gen 5. It's not an Elite chip. As we know, the Elite chips actually use a lot more power because they are powerful chips. And even though the Oppo Find N6 is a 7-core instead of 8-core, it's still really powered through. But I think its efficiency really made it last, and of course beat out the Automagic V5. Now, when I did this test last year, and you can check that video out if you want to, the Automagic V5 won. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think about this test? I know it wasn't scientific, but what do you think? Did this kind of give you a gauge? Is this something that you were looking for? Because I actually have the charging test coming up next to see who charges faster. So go ahead and make your predictions now. So please leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure to do so you don't miss out on further content. Until next time, have a wonderful day and God bless.